Hey, what's up, classic TV fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Hogan's Heroes. Thank you to every single one of you who has showed your support for me during this time when I was a bit sick and recovering. I took some time off. Thank you so much for your messages, your support, your love, and your prayers. But let's get right back to it. In this video of Hogan's Heroes, I want to show you, actually I'll highlight 3 episodes, and we'll start with this one. This one is from season 4, episode 2. It's called The Purchasing Plan. Now what's great about this, in these 3 episodes that I'm going to show you, I'm going to enlighten you into something that TV shows and movies do very regularly. That's to use stock footage of something old. Now, I've made videos like this, but I like to bring these things to the forefront so that you're able to see them the next time you watch these shows on TV. Now, in this episode of The Purchasing Plan, there is a race that's on when Hogan and his men are ordered to collect airdrop ammunition and distribute it to underground units widely scattered around the region. Now, it's a pretty good episode. What's one of the best things about it is that we have Hogan, the gang, but we also have Burkhalter and Hochstetter, and that's great. When we have a team up of Burkhalter and Hochstetter, I think it's the best. Burkhalter is great, Hochstetter is great, but having them together, that is one dynamic duo right there. Now, just to make it very clear, this episode, The Purchasing Plan, is episode 114. So I'll put it down below and I'll show you the footage, or at least the images from the footage that can be seen from that episode. So this right here is the recycled footage. It's the exterior or the outside of the building used for Burkhalter's office in Berlin. So I want to point out a few things for you, just like the columns, how the background looks. In fact, even this vehicle that pulls out, and I'll point to a couple people that we see here. Remember, this is from episode 114. Let's jump to another episode back in season 2. Now, this is a 2-part episode, so it's about an hour long, and it was played once and then continued pretty much the next week, so you had to wait for it. But for all intents and purposes for us, it was one episode. It was called A Tiger Hunt in Paris. Now, as I mentioned, a part 1 and a part 2, but I'm mostly going to look at what happened in part 2 in regards to this recycled scene. In this episode, quote-unquote, Tiger, as she's known, she was a female underground agent, is arrested, and while she's trying to document some secret German bases, she is taken into custody in Paris for interrogation. Now, when Hogan and LeBeau become stowaways aboard Klink's staff car, they head to Paris to free her. Now, in the second part, they're trying to free Tiger, and they must seek help from a Parisian fortune teller and also enlist the aid of a man who is a look-alike for a very, very interesting chief, Heinrich Himmler. And although it is a 2-parter, the one with the recycled footage is episode 42. This man is Henry Corden, who plays Himmler, and it's fantastic. It's such a great episode. It's one of my favorite 2-parters, actually. But when we come to the headquarters of the SS and the colonel, who was pretty much throughout this entire 2-parter, we see the same building, the same flag. And remember, this is supposed to be in Paris. Now, you may say, well, they just built the same building back and forth, but pretty much it's recycled footage that was used, but mostly that building was reused, which I think is really interesting. It makes sense, but I want to know how many of you actually caught that the exact same building was used, one in Berlin, one in Paris. Of course, this was just on the back lot, not that far away from where they filmed Hogan's Heroes. And finally, from season 3, episode 4, it's called Sergeant Schultz Meets Mata Hari. Schultz falls head over heels for an attractive woman, but Hogan suspects that she is a Gestapo agent and has Carter shadow the 2 lovebirds on one of their dates. It's a pretty good episode overall, but what I think is great is that we see the 3rd appearance of this building, again, giving an idea of what is going on here. As previously mentioned, this wasn't now in this episode the location of Gestapo headquarters or Burkhalter's office. It was in fact Hochstetter's office, according to the story of this episode. Pretty cool. Everything from the flags that are used on the exterior of the building, the sidewalk, the street, the car that's visible, the people walking, it's all the same. Remember, this is only an image, but when you actually saw this play, it was less than a second, enough to get ingrained into your memory so that when they went into the interior shot of where they were, you can imagine where they were at. It's a very clever trick that's used in television and movies, but I want to know, especially a lot of you Hogan's Heroes people, if you noticed it, the same building in these 3 episodes who are, again, supposed to be very different locations, 3 different locations. So what are your thoughts on this? Because when these episodes aired, remember, they were in different seasons, so it's very hard for you to be able to remember something like that. The only reason why we know this is because of reruns and so forth, and now we're able to look at these episodes more closely and notice, wait, I've seen that building before. I'm sure that this building was even used in other TV shows. They set dress it a little bit, and it's in fact the same set, it's the same facade. Very, very cool, a little bit into the insights of Hollywood secrets and the tricks that they play in order to entertain us. Thank you so much for the support as always. If you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Remember, it's absolutely free to do so. A lot of you who regularly watch me and are probably still watching right now aren't even subscribed. You really should, because it really does help me out. It helps this channel to grow. I can't do this without your support, and these are amazing free ways that you can do so. Again, thank you. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, be hopeful. Thank you to everyone for the support, especially my Diamond tier patrons: Citizen Kane 359, David D, Greg S, Kevin K, Ricky, Sally N, Ulysses the P, and Vito L. If you want to join the Patreon family, links are in the description. Thank you.